Right, so Duane... What was the name of the person again? Duane Thresher. Duane or Duane Thresher? Duane Thresher, let's call it Duane. Duane's more amusing to me. Duane, so from left to right... Oh, I'm an idiot, this is going to get edited up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It could be this guy actually, because they said this one here is kneeling. So it might be that this guy's the kneeling one and that guy's that one. So, well, hang on, you've got kneeling ones here. So you got, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's this guy, right? It's probably this guy here with the big giant mustache. Which, to be fair, he gets points just for that, but that's just silly. Right, so his page just reads like something of a 12-year-old. Researching tree climate proxy, blah blah blah. Guest scientist on something modelling. On modelling, even though he says in this other bit about principles that modelling's bullshit anyway. Right, Duane Thresher. Duane! Yeah, boy! Duane! Questions the validity of established method for sea surface temperature. Rejected after standard sloppy peer review. Well, I requested 3 specific less biased reviewers. Got 3 very biased reviewers instead. You don't get to complain about the reviewers. It's the editor's job to decide who's the most unbiased. You don't get to complain about that. Not even qualified to review. Oh, blimey, he's bitching about that, isn't he? Present day atmospheric simulations. Okay, I can probably have a look at that and understand that. Multi-climate simulations of LGM. LGM? Oh, LGM. Okay, I'm thinking of something else. Thinking of LGN. Cognitive science. Media coverage. Trump presidency. Oh, really? Oh, dear, oh, dear. Okay, so this is all opinion and blogs. Right, so anyway, this was the study that he was involved in, apparently. Where's the abstract? Sleeping. No, this is nothing about a study. This isn't even a publication. This is just him talking about going out and camping and shit. Sleeping accommodations, all meals and lecturing laboratory were all well provided by so and so hotel. What the fuck? That's not a publication. Right, go back to his main page. Report on the International Winter Study of... This is right, selected publications. There, you can see that. Selected publications. Duane Thresher 2010, this one. Click. And we go to the one I just listed here. And that's not even a public... That's just him stating he went on camping with a bunch of guys and did some stuff. Right, that link took me to Breitbart of an article. That's not a good sign. Okay, so he was in this, was he? He was mentioned in this. Right, how do you spell his surname? Thresher. Okay, that's easy. Right. Does his name appear in this? Thresher. There we go. Duane Thresher. Get PDF. Climate. 24 meg. That'll take about 10 seconds. Right. So, a full description of the Model E version, the God Industry, blah blah blah. This is a different one he did. Check he's in this one as well. Yep, he's in this one. Right, so get that one. Right, so yeah, look at this. So he's got on his website PhD Earth and Environmental Sciences, Climate Modelling / Proxies. 1. Guest scientist on Ocean's Climate Proxy Modelling. Right, so he's obviously got a hard on for proxies, but the key word there's modelling, yeah? So principles. Principle 2. Climate proxies are far too inaccurate, unreliable, and sparse to prove anything about past global climate. So, oh my god. They are called climate proxies because they are substitutes for real climate measurements. Right, so that's a subjective statement. For real climate measurements. What, as in literally plotting the entire, every single molecule of on planet Earth? Well, of course it's a proxy, it's an approximation. Like literally everything you ever do in science is an approximation of some kind. Of temperature from tree ring widths. Well, yeah, I don't have a time machine to go back and measure the exact temperature, so you infer from biology, so you reliably go, okay, well these trees grow in this environment, at this CO2 level, at this temperature, so you can accommodate for that, because you know what the CO2 level is, you work out the temperature, it's just simple algebra. Okay, there was a thing in here about models. Oh yeah, it's fundamentally mathematically impossible for climate models to predict climate. The usual misusage of the chaos theory's butterfly effect, which is not what it's about. If you bothered to read up on chaos theory, you'd realise it's about topology, it's not about one particular event causing an infinite amount of other ones. It's about every single particle interacting with each other in a dynamic way, and then from that you see a topology of reactions that you can't measure every single piece, you just measure the topology. It's like a wave on an ocean. You don't have to measure every single particle in the wave to measure the wave and how it behaves. That's topology. Okay. Yeah, so like as I said, we've got things that modelling gets used in. We've got astrophysics, quantum modelling, geophysics, DNA sequencing, virus simulation, drug modelling, farming modelling, weather modelling, fluid dynamics modelling, demolition modelling, planetary evolutionary modelling. There we go. All manner of things that we use modelling for and come up with answers for. Okay, so we finally got the articles. Climate situations, blah blah blah, for between 1888 and 2003. We carry out similar simulations for the GISS model for 10 measured estimated climate forcings. An ensemble of climate model runs is carried out. We compare side by side simulated climate change for each forcing. Okay. Discrepancies between observations and simulations for forcings are due to model deficiencies. Okay, so the discrepancies within this are being stated as being due to the deficiency of the model. Okay, so any outcomes are already admitted to be down to the modelling being incomplete. Right, that's fair enough. And then they state, although that there are notable discrepancies between model and observations, the actual fidelity is sufficient to encourage use of model for simulations of future climate change. Okay, so what they're saying there is that whilst the accuracy of it is not enough to make a specific claim here, it is, however, showing that there is an ability in the future to get more accurate readings, and therefore it would be valid to use it. Okay, so let's quickly go to the conclusion, because I'm not going through the whole data, just to analyse it. There we go, discussion. Okay, summary. Model and later limitation and potential. We summarise model limitations and capabilities. Rightio, chuck. Okay, so the results fit observations better. So the model fits the reality that we know about better if troposphere aerosol change is smaller over Europe than is our standoff. What they mention is look for keywords. Paleoclimate evidence of climate change. Okay. Okay, so here we've got a discrepancy of deficient warming in Eurasia is one with the tropical Pacific Ocean that exceeds observations. Okay, so the model would predict under its assumptions that with the warming in the Pacific Ocean would go up. The conclusion from that is obviously it doesn't go up, but it's only in that area, suggesting that the reduced warming in that region may occur with global warming due to increased frequency or intensity of La Niñas, which is like the El Nino type thing, which is already known about. Okay, that's not a problem. Right, so the problem they're having with it is that mainly aerosols are causing a conflict of data. Okay, however, the GHG climate forcing is expected to be dominant over aerosol forcing in the future. Right, so the reason, let me just make sure there's nothing else being said here. So much as in the future case study fix. Okay, continuously some of the present simulations features seem justified. Right, so what they're saying here is, at the moment, yes, so go back to the beginning, if this stupid computer will let me. Right, so where it says here at the boat, although there are notable discrepancies between modelizations, the fidelity is sufficient to encourage use of the model for simulations of future climate change. What they're saying there is they found that the accuracy of aerosol measurement within this study is causing the accuracy of the modelling to be insufficient. However, they have made the caveat that it's perfectly within the realms of another study to account for that aerosol, and therefore it would be valid to use that modelling. So they're saying in this study, essentially, that for them, the aerosol's interfering with their results because they can't measure the aerosols accurately enough from the data they've got. So basically they're saying this model isn't great, but if we could more accurately measure the aerosols, it would be perfectly valid to use it. Okay, and I'm sure there's other elements in there that you could look through, but that's the That's why I wanted to clear up about the abstract. Okay, in this case aerosols include volcanic eruptions, so so in the model they've just used a default value for the aerosols, and if they were to use it as in the forcing in future experiments and the use of initial conditions from the oceans they know about, such as the La Niñas and El Nino, etc., where the localized cooling takes place, it runs significantly improves realism of the results. Okay, so we're now including our control means a stratosphere. Okay, right, okay. Yeah, so what exactly that's saying about modelling is not that models don't work. They're saying that this particular model doesn't work because they haven't accounted for volcanoes and the cooling effect of oceans. But if you do that in future, which is perfectly feasible, the model would work. Okay, next one. I'm sorry if this is boring you, but this is science, and sometimes science is boring, and you need to go through this to make sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. Because otherwise you're just going to be a conspirator who just lumps the most interesting things that stands out. Institute for Space Studies. Okay, simulations. Complete rewrite of previous models, incorporating numerous improvements in basic physics. When was this written? This was on 2004, and the other one was at 2007. So this was a previous paper. Okay, so this is a different model from the looks of it. Okay, but okay, so that's outside the realm of what I understand to my expertise, so I'm not going to get into that because I don't really know what I'm talking about with that one. Okay, so stick to that then. So yeah, so basically he's saying that he's been involved in he's been involved in studies regarding modelling. He's taken the false conclusion that all models are shit, and he's just basically gone off on a random rant about it here. I love this. He sounds like a 12-year-old. We're the most qualified real climatologists to ever come out as global warming skeptics, including even more than the Dr. Richard Lindzen and Dr. Judith Curry, although we acknowledge their revolutionary courage. Unlike most scientists counted in the scientific consensus on global warming, we are real climate scientists. Oh yes, I love that special pleading. Unlike literally everyone else and the thousands of people that do work to the same standard you would do, who come to different conclusions. Oh, they're not real climate scientists. That's the problem. It's not that I might have made a mistake in my work that I can check. It's that everyone else is wrong. Graduate careers include numerous courses in climate, and we've done extensive research in climate, including climate modelling and climate proxies, which you also admit in your principles that they don't count, apparently. So you've just negated your entire qualification in one go. Doing both is unusual. Really? Doing modelling is unusual. Doing modelling and climate approximations from that modelling is unusual. No, it's not. Everyone does that. Oh, not only have they run climate models, they've actually programmed them as well. Oh my god, you mean to tell me that someone who's a scientist knows how to program in possibly Linux or something like that? Never would have thought that. I'm pretty sure that most scientists would have programmed something in their lives similar. Okay, so, and I had to do it in flipping Pascal, for fuck's sake, and Excel, for God of all things, in astrophysics, and so fully understand their huge weaknesses, except everyone else doesn't magically understand their huge weaknesses, apparently, despite more than just you being able to program. Oh yes, and for those mostly non-scientists who are foolish enough to believe and espouse that peer review means that what is written is true. Every word one of us writes is actually read by the other before publications. Scientists today often don't have time to even scan the current literature, never mind carefully read papers for peer review. This person doesn't understand how peer review works. That's not how it works. Peer review is selected people who are paid or hired or volunteered to read a specific paper in their field by an editor, and that editor then goes, here you go, here's the paper. Go out and be fruitful. Rip it to shreds. See what you can find about it, which might be wrong. And then it comes back, and if it's wrong, it gets rejected, and the person has to rewrite it until it's right. Oh, looks at the reputations of, or his friends with, the paper's author to decide whether the paper should be published. That's a personal opinion, and it's objectively not true. The editor's job is to choose someone who is unbiased, who is a selected expert in the field, and is not related to the editor. This is the person's personal opinion, because if you scroll down here, you would realise that when he gets to climate, it's one of his publications rejected. Where's it gone? I saw it earlier. I read it earlier. Oh, where's it gone? Is it on this page? There we go. After at least 4 rejections and deciding the paper had no scientific value worth publishing and quitting working for Gerrit Lomren of the Alfred industry due to his abusive behaviour, I was horrified to discover 3 years after I quit climate science, he's not even a climate scientist anymore, that the paper had been published with my name on it. So it had been published, okay. Oh my god, he's just like having a complete personal spaz attack over absolutely everything. So the only thing he's complaining about there is the fact that first of all, he's complaining that it was rejected 4 times. So they rejected it, and then he magically decided it had no scientific value and quit, and then quit his job. And then because later on someone published it and just didn't remember to chase him up because he'd probably quit without giving a forwarding phone number, they just chucked his name on it because he was involved in it. Well, why? You know, if you can't get in touch with him, of course they're going to put his name on it because otherwise you would sue them for not putting your name on it. After harassment aided by the journal, okay, of me, my husband, my current and former bosses. Oh my god. So this is someone else as well. That's Claudia Kubatzki who had this problem. Blimey. So there's a pattern here. So there was that, and there was this. So this was Claudia Kubatzki complaining about her name being reused in a paper that she wrote after they rejected it, not her. They rejected it, and then someone obviously rewrote it, and then they accepted it. And then they stuck her name on it because obviously she was originally involved in the experiment. And she's got butthurt because she quit her job. And she's left. Here we go. This is the one about Duane Thresher. Duane Dibley! I'm Duane Dibley! Right, sorry about that. Questions of validity of the established method for sea surface reconstruction. Okay, yeah, so this paper here was about him questioning the validity of an established method for measuring temperature. And it was rejected after his words, standard sloppy peer review. I requested 3 specific less biased. So basically, he was trying to bypass the peer review by selecting people that he wanted to, not the editor whose job it was, who gets paid to be unbiased by selecting, you know, people that are in the field but are unrelated to the person in question. So there is no bias, because if it was his friend, then it would be a bias, wouldn't it? Because he'd be more inclined to give him a pass. Got 3 very biased reviewers instead. Careers dependent on established method. So he's accusing them of their careers depend on a method. Right, so their entire career depends on one single method, does it? So in the whole of physics, there's only one formula for everything, is there? There's just, you know, there's F equals ma, and that's the entire method of science. We only use F equals ma, and that's it. No. If the method fails, then they use another one. There's more than one method to use. Jesus Christ, he's saying his career depended on an established method. Only 2 responded, 1 against, 1 neutral. So? So what? Someone said it was neutral. That doesn't mean they didn't respond. And the editor cast a deciding vote against. So yeah, all they did was they chose not to publish it because 2 responded as it was failed, and the other one remained neutral. So you kind of need 3 passes to get qualified as a review to be published. And the paper is here. Oh, he's actually published the paper, has he? Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm not going to be claimed to be an expert in modelling, so if this goes outside my pay grade, I will admit as much. But he's claiming that an up-to-date, carefully provided blah blah blah. There's a widespread assumption in the model or method that an inversion of a spatial calibration equation of such and such relating to blah 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 correctly accounts for all factors. The assumption is shown to be valid specifically into the... Okay, so he's basically claiming the math behind the method is wrong. Okay, oh, well, I can't really get into that because I don't understand the maths behind this. So that's not going to be something I can look at. I can look at the conclusion, maybe. Oh, dear. Oh, hello. Guest scientist program of the Alpha Wenger Institute research about... Hang on, what? The work was done with support from the guest scientist program of the Alpha... Okay, so someone helped him out. Okay, so... Oh, there we go. Claudia... Look at that. Look at that. Claudia Kubatzki. What a convenient... notice that. So they read the drafts of the paper. That's this woman here, who's also complaining about her papers getting rejected. Without her permission, having her name put on it. She read it. That's basically him saying thanks for reading it. Great. Okay. this is just a mathematical analysis. You need to be a mathematician to read that and really understand it. I'm not going to claim about that, but it's just amusing that I got my special friend to read the paper. Thank you very much, special friend. And he's writing some crappy little... dear oh dear. So yeah, this is his kind of website. Makes it look like written like a 12-year-old. And former NASA GISS climate scientist tells it how it is. Tells new NASA head to stop funding corrupt carpetbaggers. Yeah. Great. Such science, much logic.